Is Enshrouded worth playing? Yes, it absolutely is. For those of you that just wanted that answer, make sure to hit the like button and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. For the rest of you, let me explain why. Before we begin, I want to thank Keen Games for the review copy of the game and for allowing me to provide my honest opinion with no restrictions other than respecting the embargo date. Like all of my videos like this, there will be no spoilers as I will be showing only footage from the first hour or so of the game. So let's start off with the main feature that kind of makes this game unique from other survival games, and that's going to be the Shroud. So the game is called Enshrouded. The reason it's called that is the world you're living in has areas of it or parts of it that are enshrouded by this toxic cloud. You'll notice there's a timer at the top with 5 minutes. And if that timer reaches 0 and you're still inside of this clouded area, the shrouded area, you will end up dying. There's also going to be different enemies in here. You can see one up there. I'll show you some combat in just a little bit. So another thing that makes this game unique from many survival games, especially the ones I've been playing recently, is the quest system. So if you go inside your journal here, or you open up your main menu here, you're going to see that there's quests and there's going to be some different things inside of here. The main thing we're going to be looking at right now is going to be the quests. So the way that you're going to be guided through the story in Enshrouded is you're going to be getting different quests. The quests are going to kind of guide you along, point you in the right direction, and just help you essentially find the gear you need, find the items you need, and just kind of push you out and encourage you to explore more. So the very first one you're going to get is going to be to claim a spot for your base. So you're going to have to place a flame altar down. We go into our crafting menu here. You're going to see it's going to cost 5 stone. So of course, like most survival games, you can gather resources by either punching trees or picking things up. We're just going to pick up the rocks here. And we're going to collect 3 there. So we just need 5. Now, you are going to be basically told to build your first base here. You will later be able to build, I think, up to a total of 6 different locations you can have a base built. So right here, we're just going to craft our flame altar. Easy crafting, instant. Then we're going to go into our back, or right here into our hotbar. And you can just kind of place it down. You'll notice there is going to be a square around it if that's going to be your buildable area. So placing that down, and that's going to give us our first, finish the first quest. And then it's going to pop up here. You're going to click this, and I'm not going to read the text. I'll leave that for you guys to read. I will say that I definitely recommend reading everything that comes up in this game because you're going to find lore pages laying around, and everything, almost every time you read something, it's going to give you a clue of where things might be or what to expect going forward. So inside your flame altar, you're going to be able to upgrade it. You can also strengthen it, which is going to give you some bonuses, including how long you can stay inside the shrouded area. And then you can also reset your skill points. We'll talk about the skill points in just a second. But upgrading the altar is just going to increase the buildable area. And you'll be able to do that, I think, up to 4 times currently in the early access period. And you can strengthen up to level 4 currently in the early access period. So now that we've done that, what that's going to do is it's going to open up and give us another quest. So you're going to find that early in the game, you're going to be getting lots of different quests. And it's going to be telling you to go out and adventure in the world. You're going to notice here, this second quest we got here is going to be called Find the Sleeping Survivor. So another unique feature that Enshrouded has is there's going to be NPCs. So think of games kind of like Terraria, and then more recently like Core Keeper, games where you can actually have NPCs in your base. And what they do is they will give you access to new items, and again, helping you kind of progress through the game. The skill tree is another feature that I think makes this game really unique. And this is a pretty large skill trait. In my opinion, there's currently, I guess there's 3 different kind of play styles with variations in each one of them. So down on the bottom here, you're going to notice the red areas. You're going to have tank, warrior, barbarian, athlete. These are going to be focused on melee weapons. So you can either go with one-hand melee weapons or two-handed melee weapons. The one hands will swing faster. The two hands will obviously swing slower, but they're going to do more damage and stun enemies quicker. Up top here is going to be the more kind of like, I guess, the stealth / range. And this will be used for being able to use bows. There's 2 different types of bows in the game. I think there's long bows and short bows. One shoots faster than the other. The other one's going to do more damage per shot. And then last but not least is going to be the magic side here. So we have 4 different types of classes here in the magic area. And the magic, I believe, also has 1- and 2-handed weapons. So each of the play styles is going to have 2 different types of 2 different styles of weapons. 1-handed or 2-handed for the melee and for the magic, for the wizard or the magic side. And then you're going to have the 2 different types of bows for the up here for the range side. And there's lots of different variations of these weapons. There's lots of different 1-handed and 2-handed weapons and stuff like that. There's different wands, there's different staves and stuff like that. But the really cool thing is you can kind of create your own playstyle here. So you're going to notice there's lots of nodes here. So as an example, my first playthrough, when I played through the entire game, I ended up going with the melee route, and I started off with a 2-handed and then switched back to 1-handed. So what you can do, though, is you don't have to just, like, once you go down this path, you're not tied into this path. So what I did was I grabbed some nodes from some other areas. Like I wanted to have my endurance increased, or I wanted to be able to run faster. I wanted to be able to mine stuff, cut down trees faster, or mine rocks faster. So you're not locked into just doing one style, and you can actually kind of mix and match And you can come with all different kind of play styles here. So I think this is really unique. This will also provide some replayability because if you could play through the game and do it as a melee combat, and then you could go through and play as a magic, then you can go through and play as ranged, or you can do a combination of all the above. So like your typical survival game, in Enshrouded, you're going to be collecting resources. So I've crafted myself an axe and a pickaxe in the crafting menu. Very easy to craft. You're going to just need twig, stone, and string. You can craft string from collecting plant fibers. And then the stone you can just pick up off the ground. And once you make yourself a pickaxe and then make yourself an axe, you can just chop down trees. Chopping down trees, pretty straightforward. Just going to sit here and chop. It's going to be the same thing for breaking the rocks. Just wanted to show you it. You do need to make sure you're in the right position because if you're not, you'll end up just completely missing it. So you're just going to grab all this stuff here. And the trees are also going to drop resin here. And we're just going to grab that. Just wanted to show you that. And we're going to go through here. Another thing I'm going to recommend doing is kind of breaking everything. When you break, you can break almost everything. So one thing that kind of also separates Enshrouded from other survival games, it's almost kind of like Minecraft where you can just pretty much break everything. Like if I want to break this structure here, I can just start hitting this and eventually it'll break. I'm not going to break my pickaxe doing it because it's going to take too long, but you can kind of just terraform wherever you want. And that's pretty cool too. So you can use that to your advantage in cases where you're maybe trying to get to a place where you wouldn't normally be able to reach. Like let's say I wanted to get up on top of that mountain and there was no easy way to get up there right now. I could just kind of chip my way up there and make myself a staircase. So that definitely helps with traversal and just getting around the map. So like in most survival games, you're going to have to eat and drink, but unlike most survival games, not eating and drinking will not result in you dying. The way the food system works in Enshrouded is similar to how it works in Valheim. Eating and drinking will actually provide buffs. So if I drink this water right here, what it's going to do is, I already drank it. Drinking water, top left corner, the top one's going to be water. Drinking water is going to increase my maximum stamina. I can also eat berries, mushrooms, and then you can cook some meat. So if I eat these purple berries here, it's going to fill up the top one. It's going to give me health regeneration. Eating mushrooms is going to give me a different buff. And then cooking meat's going to, any type of cooked meat will increase the maximum health that I have. So that's definitely something I like. So if I'm just wandering around gathering resources, like cutting down trees, gathering rocks, stuff like that, or ores or anything like that, you don't have to worry about dying of starvation or dying of dehydration. You'll just have to make sure, be aware, because your health and your stamina will be depleted if you're not hydrated or have not ate. So next up, let's take a look at the crafting system. So I've made myself a little workbench here. Going into the crafting, you can actually do some manual crafting here. So you'll see here, I can make the altar, the workbench, the construction hammer, and some basic things. What this workbench is going to let me do is it's going to allow me to craft different types of blocks. And it's also going to allow me to craft storage chests. It's going to allow you to craft a glider. The game does have a glider and a grappling hook. That's going to help you get around, traverse the map much easier. There's also going to be specific spots where you're going to need the grappling hook to get up to. So what I'm going to do here is I've gathered a decent amount of wood. So I'll just make a couple of wood blocks here, and I'll just show the building system real quick. So you're also going to have to make a hammer, which you can make manually. Once you've made the hammer, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go down and go into build mode. And if I go into the build mode, we can open it up and just see all the different options there are. So we got the 1 meter, 2 meter, 4 meters, and then you got the different roofs in the terrain. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build we're going to go down, and I guess I typically do the 4 meter blocks. So we're going to put down a 4 meter block here. We're going to place down here. I'm just building around the fire just because it just seems to make sense, because the fire is going to give me, it's going to give me warmth. So we put that down, and what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to build, basically just build the rest of my house out. But the building system is really clean. Putting the different walls up and everything, you can actually have them snap to the grid or not snap to the grid. It just depends on what you want to do. And you can place things. That's really, really, really useful for when you're placing down chests. So when I place down a storage chest, you just basically press X on the keyboard. What that's going to do is it'll snap things into place so you can get things perfectly lined up. Because one thing that definitely happens in a lot of games is trying to place things down and get them in the lineup can be very, very, very painful and challenging and take a lot of time. So that's the building system. If you've seen the trailers for this game, you can build like some crazy stuff. You can build giant castles and stuff like that. The building is functional because you're going to need it to house your NPCs and to put down all your different workbenches and stuff like that. It'll also provide you with a rested buff, similar to the one that's in Valheim, where it will give you some bonuses. So let's go talk about the combat system. So there's a bunch of enemies over there. You'll notice at nighttime, these guys weren't here during the day. At nighttime, these guys are going to start spawning in. Those are the guys that are also wandering in the shrouded area. Up here in the starting area, there's also going to be some wolves wandering around sometimes. But these are the bad guys that you're going to be fighting a lot, and you'll see them throughout the game. So the combat just kind of we're going to be doing melee here, so we can swing. You can also block, and then you can parry. If you time your blocks properly, your parry. You can also dodge roll out of the way, or just dodge, crouch. Crouching will allow you to do sneak attacks. But let's just go up here and get into combat. There's also regular combat where I can just kind of like look at them, or I can tab target them if you want to tab target an enemy. That's really useful if you're using a ranged weapon and you're trying to target a specific enemy. So we'll just go up here. I'll just show you the different kinds, and we'll just hit this guy. Now, these guys are going to be really super easy to kill. Let's see if I can get him to actually attack me. The combat at the beginning guys here, you'll notice I was a parry there. When they're parried, depending on how tough they are, they might get stunned immediately. Below their health bar is going to be a stun meter. If you get the stun meter fully maxed out, it will stun them and you can do extra damage to them and they won't be able to attack you. So if I just block here, let's see if this guy actually does damage to me. He didn't do any damage. Sometimes if the enemy's does enough damage, it will actually do damage through your block even if you have a shield. So now I'll just kind of show you the tab targeting. You can just kind of tab to the different enemies, and if I want to target like this other guy over here, just target him because he's got the lower health and I want to take him out first. Makes this super useful. This is helpful when there's a large group of enemies. I typically do not use the tab targeting. I kind of only use it for when I'm using ranged combat, honestly, because I like to just be able to jump around and stuff like that. I will say that the one concern I have from the demo was that I felt like the combat needed some work. I will say that the combat playing through this game, the 30 hours I put into it, the combat feels infinitely better than it did in the demo. Maybe it was because in the demo I didn't play that long. I only played a couple of hours, but the combat feels much better now, especially fighting all the different various types of enemies. You're going to run in lots of different types of enemies. The different biomes will have different enemies in them. Some of them are passive, some of them are aggressive, some of them are neutral. And it's the combat is just so much better now. And because of the variety of you being able to use melee, ranged, or the magic, you're going to be able to choose your play style, and it's just going to allow you to basically play the game how you want. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wander down here into the Enshrouded area. I'm going to find that NPC, and I'm going to show you kind of what the NPCs do and how they're useful in the game. So I made my way to the vault where the first NPC is going to be located, and typically there's going to be somebody guarding it. So we're going to fight this guy here. And this guy's going to be a little bit tougher than the guys we fought earlier. These guys can actually do quite a bit of damage to you if you just sit there and try to tank them. So I definitely don't recommend face tanking them. You'll notice they're pretty good at blocking. Kind of rolling away and just hitting them is going to definitely kind of help take them out. So we're going to take this guy out. Bam, he's done. There were a couple guys outside as well. We're going to go over here, and this is going to be the survivor. So we now have Oswald Anders, the blacksmith. We can actually place him down at our base. Grab this lore over here. Like I said, typically you're going to read this. I've already read this before. This is going to talk about the blacksmith, so make sure you read all those things. And one cool feature that I have not mentioned up to this point was, if I go to my map right now, I'm not terribly far from my base, but I am a decent walking distance. As long as you're not in an enshrouded area, you can just fast travel to any point that is yellow. So you can set up your different flame altars. I think you can have up to 6 of them around the world once you've leveled it up. Right now I can only have 2, but later on I think you can have up to 6. So we're going to fast travel back to that. And what you can also do is there's also going to be other places that allow you to fast travel to them. It definitely makes getting around the map a lot easier. So now that we have him, can commune with the flame, which is going to tell us this survivor will be worthy addition to our cause. Place him in your world with the summoning staff, which you can craft from some simple twigs. Okay, so I'm not sure if I can craft them from, yeah, right here. We're going to craft this. So we got the summoning staff. So our summoning staff is right here. And what we can do is we can place this guy down. So we're going to select the blacksmith. We're just going to place him right here. And he's going to be kind of good to go now, right? So I'm going to talk to him. And what he's going to do, he's going to give me some quests. I'm not going to go through these because I don't want to, like I said, no kind of spoilers here. But what he'll do is allow to craft stuff. So he's going to allow you to craft some different things. The forge is going to allow you to make some different resources. The charcoal kiln is going to help you make charcoal. Nails, he's going to give you better axes and pickaxes. He's going to let you make lock picks because there are going to be locks in the game that require a lock pick. He's going to be the guy that's going to give you the one-handed weapons. So we can take a look. He's going to give us a club or a sword here. He's also going to allow you to craft some armor beyond the basic armor. I did craft a piece of armor a few minutes ago, but he's going to give you the first level of armor as well as additional armor later on. And the main thing here is upgrade, basically unlocking all the NPCs is going to unlock all the crafting recipes. It's going to let you make better gear. It's going to let you customize kind of your playstyle, like I said, and they're going to give you quests. I'm not going to click on the quest because, again, no spoilers. A couple other features that are definitely worth mentioning is the way durability is handled. So you'll notice that my club here has some durability damage to it. It's not 100%. My pickaxe, my axe, and also my torch have slight durability loss. In the way the durability is repaired in this game is you do not have to actually have any items are repaired or any resources. You just walk up to your workbench, open it up, and all items are repaired. Very similar to how Valheim does it, except you're not have to go in and click each weapon or click the repair button. You just open it up and it's repaired. So that's definitely awesome because that's going to save you a lot of time. No need to go around collecting like wood to repair stuff or stone or later on other resources. So definitely an awesome feature. There's also another feature that's definitely cool that is similar to the way Valheim works, and that's going to be that you can take your characters between worlds. So as an example, I could load up my other world that I have like 30 hours in right now and have my brand new character start on there if I wanted to. I could also take my character from that world, and if I didn't want to start from scratch and kind of wanted to get a jump start, I could move that character over to this world. So maybe you're playing with a friend and you don't want to start over, or maybe your friend has a character already. You guys can hop back and forth on different servers or on different worlds and not be tied to it. And then last but not least is going to be the map size. Now, so everything up to this point was recorded when I had played about 30 hours in the game, and I thought I had reached kind of the end point of the content that was for the review copy that I had. What I ended up finding was there was one item that I did not craft, which unlocked something else that I needed, which let me get through a barrier that I thought was going to be impenetrable at this time. It is not. So I've put an additional 20 hours into the game. You're not going to see it on this map because I haven't explored anything on this map. This is a brand new map for this, just for this video, and I don't want to spoil anything anyway. You'll see how large the map is right now, and with the extra 20 hours, so 50 in total on my original save, I would estimate I've probably explored maybe 30 to 40% of the map, something like that, and it's taken me about 50 hours. I'm not even finished the new biome that I went into, so I probably have another 10 hours or so. That's with building just a moderate-sized base, so I didn't spend a ton of time base building. I probably spent a couple hours base building, but right now, at launch, you're probably, if you're playing by yourself, and you don't go looking up guides on anything, you just kind of explore through the world, you're going to definitely get, I would say, 50 to 70 hours out of a solo playthrough of Enshrouded. You might get much more depending on how slowly you take things, depending on how much you want to build up your base and stuff like that. And playing multiplayer is obviously going to probably reduce that a little bit because you'll be able to explore more, but then again, you're also going to have to collect resources for everyone. So anyway, you're going to be getting a lot of content out of Enshrouded at launch. But anyway, Enshrouded for me, would I recommend it? Absolutely 100%. I recommend it. For an early access game, it has a really good foundation, and honestly, comparing it to all the survival games I played in the last few years, it ranks really close to the top in terms of quality of content at launch, and overall, in the long run, it might end up being my favorite survival game just because of the fact that it blends RPG with survival really well. It almost feels like an RPG game it's more RPG than survival just because of the questing system and the builds and stuff you can create. But overall, Enshrouded is an absolutely awesome game. If it's a game you think you're going to be wanting to try out and you want to kind of get some tips and tricks without any spoilers, here's a video where I share 15 things I wish I knew when I started playing Enshrouded.